I did want to mention beforehand that this news comes from a Bethesda leak. There was a page made on the Bethesda websites about the Ancient Gods Part 2, and that's where all of the information has been taken from. And I did want to kind of talk about the, ethics of talking about leaked information, about games or, any pop culture really, movies, etc. I talk about these things because I am a fan of these things. And I know that people don't want their experience of Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods Part 2, ruined, like with the story and whatnot. That's perfectly fine, and I don't want to intentionally sort of leak information, but it is out there, people are talking about it anyway, and I want to talk about it. Huge respect to Hugo, huge respect to Marty, huge respect to every developer at id Software and working on Doom Eternal. The same thing would happen if there was a leak about Star Wars or a leak about whatever. So there is a ton of news for Doom Eternal The Ancient Gods Part 2 that was recently dropped, so let's just get into it. The new enemy variants include the Armored Baron, the Stone Imp, which we covered earlier, the Screecher, which has also been covered, and also the Cursed Prowler. And there's one other enemy that I want to talk about later on, but these were the 4 that were mentioned in the DLC's description on the marketing page on the Bethesda website. So the Armored Baron wears special armor and uses a charged fist attack. The Stone Imp possesses a nearly impenetrable hide and prefers close combat, and we actually get to see a picture of the Stone Imp, which is good to see. And he looks a bit different than how I imagined the Stone Imp would look. He has sort of purple features about him, and he obviously, is grey like a stone statue. But I didn't expect the purple on him, but I kind of like it. It kind of reminds me of the Prowler or Nightmare Imp a bit, and in the picture itself you can see him doing his charged attack, which looks awesome, and he also has the yellow fireball attack, which looks amazing. I mean, the lighting here looks great. And obviously you can see Amora in the background, which we'll talk about later, but the Stone Imp visual is here, and it looks cool, even though it does look a bit different than what I was expecting. I was expecting it to look like the statues from Dissolution of Eternity, which is the second expansion for Quake 1. But it has its own design going on, and I like it. It does look like a cross between the Prowler and the regular Imp, and I'm all for that. The next demon that was talked about was the Screecher, which has been talked about before, on Hugo's stream, so there's not really much to expand on. But the description says that the Screecher is a zombie that empowers nearby enemies when killed. We already knew this, so there's really no point of, going over this more. But then we have the Cursed Prowler, which is an enemy that we haven't heard of until now, and it is apparently a mutation with venomous cursed claws. I'm not sure what the design is going to be for the Cursed Prowler. We didn't get any visuals, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I am kind of mixed on so many of these variants, but of course you have to account for COVID and, lockdown being in effect, especially in the US and Texas, where id Software resides. So I understand why these are more enemy variants rather than brand new enemies. Even the Screecher is like a zombie, so yeah. But regardless, I do like the Stone Imp's design, and I'm looking forward to seeing the Cursed Prowler and the Armored Baron sometime in the future. And I will say that I think we're really close to the DLC's release. Everything has been coming out about this expansion, so it's only a matter of time until we get an actual release date. The teaser trailer will be dropping on the 15th of March, so we'll probably get the release date then. The Sentinel Hammer also got a description, and the Sentinel Hammer is no longer a spoiler. It was confirmed in the official marketing for Doom Eternal. Not even this leaked description, I'm talking about the actual poster that the Doom Twitter page actually posted. So the Sentinel Hammer is a part of the marketing, and we can go forward. So the Sentinel Hammer description is as follows. Deliver more destruction with the Sentinel Hammer, an ancient weapon capable of stopping any demons caught within its shockwave. Use it to stun demons or combine it with the Ice Bomb or Flame Belch to extract much needed armor or health. So obviously the thing that caught my eye was the Sentinel Hammer having a shockwave, which I think will be an interesting addition to the combat meta, and now that I think about it, I think that the Sentinel Hammer is a much needed addition, and I think having a new melee weapon is a cool thing to have. Obviously the Crucible is just a one-shot, killing machine, while the Sentinel Hammer will be much more complicated, I believe anyway, with it causing a shockwave and all of that, and it's stunning demons, and also killing the Stone Imp almost immediately, which is cool. So I think having a melee weapon that just does more than just one-shotting demons is a cool thing to have, and I'm glad that the DLC has this Sentinel Hammer. I think adding any new guns at least is just a redundant process, and having a new melee weapon was probably the best thing to add, if they were forced to add a new weapon into the equation. Anyway, moving on from the new weapon and new enemies, we have some screenshots of some of the locations that we'll be visiting in the DLC. The first one here is some sort of Sentinel world, I guess. I'm not really sure, I haven't looked too much into this, but I think it looks amazing, and this is where the World Spear mission will obviously be set in. I think it looks amazing, I think it looks much more lush than Taras Nabard, and I'm really looking forward to exploring this location. It has sort of a Fable sort of RPG kind of vibe, and I do like it. Then the next mission, Reclaimed Earth. I mean, this looks great. I mean, just going off of this screenshot, I think Reclaimed Earth will be my favorite level out of this entire expansion. It is shaping up to be the case, because this screenshot looks amazing, and it's something that we've never really seen in Doom before. It looks beat up, it looks run down, but it still looks like Earth at the end of the day. It doesn't look like hell has completely fucked the place over, and I'm looking forward to exploring this location. The final screenshot that we have, at least in regards to the levels and the locations in the expansion, is the Amora screenshot right here. I love the tower in the background. I think the architecture with the maroon sort of buildings, they look great, man, and this just looks demonic, but it's not going too over the top with it, which I like. It looks evil, there's obviously demonic imagery with the symbol at the top left, but it doesn't go all fire and brimstone, which is something that Doom 64 really does well. But now, here is the last screenshots, with the Chaingunners. This is an enemy that has not been talked about as of yet, and wasn't even talked about in the descriptions for the new enemies. This is the only screenshot we have of the Chaingunner, this is the only piece of information we have on the Chaingunner, as it has not been talked about anywhere, and the Chaingunner seems to be a reskinned version of the Zombie Man, the Zombie Shield Man I should say, with the yellow shields here, and while I'm mixed on the yellow shields, I'm sure it'll be incorporated well. And from the looks of things, the Chaingunner is also going to be projectile based. If that is a bullet that the second Chaingunner is firing to the right, then yes, I am correct. It is a projectile based enemy, which makes sense because all of Doom Eternal's, enemies are projectile based, but I wouldn't totally be opposed to it being hit scanned. I think the Chaingunner is such a pain in the ass in the original Doom games, and I want the Chaingunner to carry that same spirit into Doom Eternal. And I think adding the shield and even making it hit scan would do the job. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. Please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. We might talk about the poster and the upcoming trailer later down the road when the trailer comes out. But that being said, what do you think about all of this news dropping, and what do you think about the Ancient Gods Part 2 so far? Please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.